The winter wind blew across the narrow streets of Rahim Colony, while people hurried home before the rain began. Shops were closing one after another, motorcycles splashed. Through muddy roads, and tired workers carried the weight of another long day on their shoulders. In a small broken house at the end of the street lived a boy named Ayan. The house was old, its walls were cracked, the roof leaked during storms, and the electricity disappeared almost every night. But inside that small home lived dreams bigger than the city itself. Ayan was not born talented. He was not rich. He was not lucky, but he had something dangerous inside him. A hunger to become capable. From childhood, he watched people disrespect his father because he was poor. His father worked at a mechanic shop from morning till midnight, repairing engines with hands covered in grease and burns. Yet no matter how hard he worked, money was never enough. Sometimes neighbors mocked them. Sometimes relatives ignored them. Sometimes people spoke kindly to their faces, but laughed behind their backs. Ayan saw everything, and slowly those moments turned into silent fire inside his heart. One evening when he was only 13 years old, he returned home from school and found his mother sitting quietly near the kitchen window. Her eyes were red as if she had been crying. "What happened?" Ayan asked softly. His mother forced a smile. "Nothing." But Ayan knew something was wrong. That night he overheard his parents talking. "We cannot pay the school fees next month," his father said in a tired voice. There was silence. Then his mother replied, "Maybe he should leave school and start working." Those words hit Ayan harder than any storm. For the first time in his life, he understood what poverty truly meant. It meant dreams becoming smaller every day. That night he could not sleep. He stared at the ceiling while rainwater dropped slowly into a bucket beside his bed. And in that darkness he made a promise to himself, no matter how hard life becomes, I will become capable enough that nobody can look down on my family again. That promise changed everything. From the next morning, Ayan's life became different from other boys his age. While children played cricket in the streets, he studied old books. While friends spent time laughing in tea shops, he searched for ways to improve himself. He started waking up before sunrise. He studied English from free newspapers. He learned computer skills from broken internet cafes. He watched motivational videos on borrowed phones because he could not afford one himself. Every single day he pushed himself harder, but success did not come quickly. Instead, failure greeted him again and again. He failed entrance exams. He was rejected from scholarships. People laughed at his accent when he tried speaking English. Some classmates called him mechanic's son as an insult. There were nights when he cried silently because the pressure became too heavy. But he never stopped, because deep inside he knew something important. Talent can open a door once, but hard work can break walls forever. Years passed. At 17, Ayan started working part-time at a small grocery store after school. He carried heavy boxes, cleaned dirty floors, and worked until midnight. His salary was tiny, but every coin mattered. He used half the money for his family. The rest he spent on books. One night, the shop owner asked him, "Why do you study so much? Most boys your age only care about fun." Ayan smiled weakly. "Because I'm scared of staying weak forever." The old shop owner looked at him carefully. For the first time, someone understood the pain behind his determination. Life became even harder after his father fell sick. The mechanic shop removed him because he could no longer work properly. Now, the entire burden of the family slowly moved onto Ayan's shoulders. Many people expected him to quit studying. Even relatives advised him. "Forget education," they said. "Find full-time work. Poor people cannot afford big dreams." But Ayan refused to surrender. He studied during bus rides. He memorized lessons while working. Sometimes he slept only 3 hours a night. His body became tired, but his dreams stayed alive. At university entrance exams, thousands of students competed for limited seats. Most came from wealthy schools with private tutors and expensive coaching centers. Ayan entered the exam hall wearing old clothes and carrying second-hand books. People judged him immediately, but they did not know how many nights he had sacrificed to reach that room. The exam lasted 4 hours. For Ayan, it felt like the battle of his entire life. Weeks later, the results arrived. He had earned one of the highest scores in the city. For several seconds, he simply stared at the paper in disbelief. Then tears filled his eyes. Not because he had become successful, but because all the pain had finally meant something. When he showed the result to his father, the old man's hands trembled. "I always feared I failed you as a father," he whispered. Ayan hugged him tightly. "You gave me the reason to fight." University life opened a completely new world. Students there spoke fluent English. wore expensive clothes and discussed things Ayan had never even heard about before. At first he felt small again, invisible, unimportant. Sometimes he sat quietly in classrooms because he feared people would judge his background. And many did. Some students mocked his simple appearance. Others avoided him because he was poor. One boy once laughed and said, "People like you never survive here." Ayan smiled calmly because he had already survived things far more painful than insults. Instead of wasting energy proving people wrong, he focused on improving himself every day. He learned communication skills. He practiced speaking English alone in empty classrooms. He spent hours in libraries while others attended parties. He learned programming from free online courses. He worked weekends to support his family. Slowly people began noticing him, not because he tried to impress anyone, but because excellence becomes impossible to ignore. By his third university year, professors respected him. Students started asking him for help. The same people who once laughed at him now admired his discipline. But success still demanded sacrifices. Ayan missed wedding celebrations, vacations, and countless happy moments because he was busy building his future. Sometimes loneliness surrounded him like darkness. There were nights he questioned everything. Will all this struggle truly change my life? But every time he remembered his parents, he continued forward. After graduation, reality hit him again. Finding a good job was not easy. Months passed without success. Companies rejected him repeatedly. Some wanted experience. Others preferred people with connections. His savings disappeared. Pressure returned. One evening, exhausted and hopeless, he sat alone on a rooftop watching the city lights. For the first time in years, fear entered his heart. What if everyone was right, he whispered to himself. What if hard work is not enough? At that moment, his phone rang. It was his mother. "Come home early tomorrow," she said happily. "Why?" "Because your father wants to celebrate your graduation properly." Ayan looked around the empty rooftop. They had almost no money, yet his parents still wanted to celebrate him. That realization gave him strength again. The next morning he woke up before sunrise and started applying for jobs once more. Weeks later he received a call from a technology company. They wanted an interview. Ayan traveled across the city, wearing his only formal suit, an old black suit he had borrowed from a cousin. Inside the office building, everything looked expensive and modern. The other candidates seemed confident and polished. For a moment, old insecurities returned. But then he remembered every struggle he had survived, and suddenly fear disappeared. During the interview, the manager asked him, "Why should we hire you?" Ayan answered honestly, "Because nobody in this room will work harder than me." There was silence. Not arrogance, not pride, just truth. A few days later, he got the job. That single phone call changed his family's future forever. Years passed quickly after that. Ayan worked tirelessly. He kept learning new skills. He improved himself constantly. While others relaxed after achieving success, he continued growing. Eventually, he became one of the company's top professionals. He bought a better house for his parents. He paid his father's medical expenses. His mother no longer worried about bills. The same relatives who once doubted him now praised him proudly. But success changed something else too. Ayan no longer hated his difficult past, because he finally understood its value. Pain had built his discipline. Struggle had created his strength. Failure had taught him patience. Poverty had taught him gratitude. One evening he visited his old neighborhood after many years. The streets still looked the same. Children still played cricket near broken walls. Workers still returned home exhausted. As Ayan walked through the colony, an old neighbor stopped him. "You've become very successful," the man said. "What was your secret?" Ayan looked around quietly before replying. "There is no secret." The man looked confused. Ayan smiled gently. "People only see success after it arrives. They don't see the years of loneliness, exhaustion, rejection, sacrifice, and self-doubt behind it." The old man stayed silent. Then Ayan continued. "Capability is expensive. You pay for it with comfort, sleep, entertainment, and sometimes even relationships. But once you become capable, nobody can easily control your life anymore." That night, while returning home, Ayan looked at the city lights shining under the dark sky. He remembered the boy who once studied under weak light in a leaking room, the boy who was mocked, the boy who feared becoming weak forever, and deep inside he felt proud of him, because becoming capable was never only about money or success. It was about transforming pain into power. It was about refusing to let circumstances define your future. It was about standing back up every single time life tried to break you. Many people dream of success, but few are willing to suffer for it. Few are willing to continue when nobody believes in them. Few are willing to work silently for years without recognition. Ayan learned that true strength is not built in easy days. It is built in moments when life gives you every reason to quit, but you continue anyway. And perhaps that is the greatest victory of all, not becoming rich, not becoming famous, but becoming the kind of person who can survive hardship without losing hope. Years later, Ayan was invited to speak at a university event. Hundreds of students listened carefully as he stood on stage. Some came from wealthy families. Others came from difficult backgrounds like his own. A student asked him, "What should we do when life becomes unfair?" Ayan smiled softly before answering, "Life will always be unfair sometimes, but never let your situation decide your limits. Your current condition is not your final destination." The hall became silent. Then he added one final sentence. "If you truly want capability, prepare yourself for sacrifice, because strong people are not born during comfort. They are created during struggle." The audience applauded loudly, but Ayan's mind traveled far away, back to that tiny broken house where a young boy once promised himself he would become strong enough to protect his family from humiliation. And in that moment, he realized something beautiful. He had finally become the person he once desperately needs.